Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Share the screen. Hopefully, you can see and hear me. Let me know in the chat box if you can see me. I hope you can. I think you can see me. I think you can hear me. Not sure why I have the old one up. Let's look. These live streams are always awesome to try to get going. Well, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I think you can see my screen, which is good. Thanks for joining my live stream today. So let me know what you want to talk about. Hello, Jay. New Jersey Jay, we're going to call you. All right. I think we're up and rolling. These live streams with the software is usually something different. It happens every week. Hello, Jay. How are you? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, everyone. My name is Tim. We have the village's map on your screen. We're going to go through and talk about some of the village's homes for sale. How many we have? 6 people watching. If you have anything you want to discuss, leave it in the chat box below. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, we'll go through and talk about some of the homes that the villages has for sale. We could also talk about the village's news. Let's talk about the village's news. There were some things that I saw on the village's news. Let's talk about what is going on in the villages. Hopefully, you can see what is going on in the villages. Close. Road rager sentenced for slashing tire in parking lot. That's nothing new to the villages. I often wondered why people retire and they're so high strung that they're constantly getting into fights at the local bars and slashing tires. It's interesting to see when you think these people are ready to settle down and retire, they actually act like they're teenagers. I suppose that the villages is kind of like the Disneyland for the retired people. Some people act like it's high school. So that's an interesting article. What is this? Hello, Tim, New Jersey. Tell us your thoughts on Eastport. Tell us what you have been seeing now and if that is partially open. What are my thoughts on Eastport? Well, first of all, I haven't been to Eastport. I'm overseas right now, so I haven't actually been boots on the ground to Eastport. Uh, but the villages did release some videos recently that there are certain things open. I think they're going to treat Eastport the same way they did with Middleton. They're going to announce that Middleton is there, and then it's going to be a year or two before those restaurants and retailers decide to occupy those spaces. And history says that it takes a long time when the villages develops something. For instance, Sawgrass Grove, Middleton, is the history shows that it takes a long time for retailers to occupy those spaces. They have to first of all they have to negotiate a lease with the developer, And from what I was told, it's not easy to negotiate lease terms and conditions with the developer. So that hangs things up. It prevents commercial and retail from moving in. They're negotiating leases. And then after the lease is negotiated, then they have to seek permitting. And from what I understand, there could be miscommunication in who's responsible for some of the permitting. And that's what happened at Sawgrass Grove, at one of the bars that opened at Sawgrass Grove. The bar owner thought the Villages was going to get the permits for, I think it was food and liquor licenses and things like that, and the developer thought it was the retail owner going to get the permits, and things were miscommunicated. So there's a lot of reasons why these places open slowly. I think Eastport's going to open slowly. How far along is Middleton? I remember doing a video in March of last year where they announced retailers were going to open in Middleton. I'm pretty sure it was March of last year. And here we are over a year later, and there's not many retailers and restaurants open in Middleton. So it's going to take a long time. That is my thoughts. My thoughts haven't really changed about Eastport. You know, if you watch my videos from a year ago, I'm telling everybody that Eastport is going to take a long time to open. And I'm thinking 5 years. I think it's going to gradually open over 5 years' time. They might have live entertainment soon. They might even have live entertainment now. I have no idea. But the live entertainment will start, but there won't be any place for anybody to go to eat. There might not be any place for anybody to go to drink. And that's going to take time. That's going to take between now and 5 years from now. One of my subscribers commented it might take 2 years. And it's going to take at least 2 years. I don't think it's going to be fully occupied for 5 or 6 years, though. Fully occupied. I think it's going to be partially occupied very shortly. They're going to have some retailers probably by the end of this year. They're going to have a few more next year. They'll have a few more after that. But I think a lot of what holds these establishments up are the rents. I think the developer charges pretty high rent. And I know I talked to retailers in Lake Sumter area, and I heard that the rents are pretty high. And you have to serve a lot of people and a lot of profit. If you're in the restaurant business is a tough business to begin with. And you see a lot of restaurants come and go in the Villages. And you see restaurants come and go everywhere because it's not a really highly profitable business. And when you have to sign a lease, that's a high cost lease, and that's the Villages are charging a premium for their retail space. And a lot of these, that's why you don't see a lot of different and unique vendors coming in. You see the FMK restaurants, they come in and they manage a lot of the properties. I would like to see some different retailers, but I think the different retailers and restaurants aren't coming in because I think they think the rents are too high. We'll take a look at that. Cruising the Black Roads with Pop and Mimi. Thanks for joining, Pop and Mimi. Looks like they are including the enclosed lanai and the square footage. It depends. Is that a Villages listing or is that a multiple listing service? So my thoughts on Eastport is it's going to be crowded. It's going to take a long time to get fully operational. It's going to be nice. Um, I'm not sure. I think you're going to have some spillover and bleed over from Middleton. I think you're going to have the high school kids from Middleton there. But pretty much all town squares have a lot of the locals that go there Friday night, Saturday night. You have a lot of people from Leesburg and Wildwood. They go to the town squares. Lady Lake, especially on the weekends. It's on the village's website. Let's take a look at this home right here. 2517 Blacksburg Way on the village's website. $25.17 Blacksburg Way. Look at this. Let's share this tab and take a look. This is a pre-owned home, $429,000. It's a gardenia, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,139 square feet. Gardenia, Village of Bonita. That's between the sixes, I believe. Let's see where it is. Village of Bonita. I've done open home videos in the Village of Bonita. Odell Circle, yes. First of all, you're backing up to Odell Circle. That's a busy street. That's going to be a pretty busy street. And for my liking, I don't buy homes that back up to a busy street. I try to stay inland. So Odell Circle, which rec center is this? This is the Duval Rec Center, the Village of Duval. Where are we? This is Buena Vista. This is Seabreeze. Oh, you're near Seabreeze. Here's 466A. The only problem I have with it is that it backs up to Odell Circle. Otherwise, it's between the sixes. Again, you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Can you get close to this shopping center via golf cart? I'm all about being close to shopping on a golf cart. And when you get into these types of areas, that's a large retention pond. Let's take a look at the house. Looks like they're including the. All right. So let's take a look. Let's take a look what the square footage is. More. Step inside, discover. Primary ceilings. Oversized home site, room for a pool, minutes from Sumter Square. I don't know if it's that close to Sumter Square. I think it's a fairly long distance. Series, home features. Let's look at the features. Oversized home site, room for pool, rear exposure. North, central air, den. Yeah, you got to watch it. These realtors, the problem in real estate is that there's no consistency. There is just no consistency in real estate. There's no consistency with how they market and sell their homes. Their spec sheets are inconsistent. I see a lot of mistakes on spec sheets. So when you're looking at pre-owned and you're looking at the aftermarket, you really need to do your due diligence. I would recommend you bring if you go to this home and look at it, you bring your own tape measure, you measure things yourself, you look at things yourself, because I see so many mistakes on spec sheets. This home says it's close to Sumter Landing. I'm not sure it's that close. How close is it to Sumter Landing? I don't think it's that close. So everything you have to take with a grain of salt when it comes to aftermarket. This home is quite a ways away from Sumter Square, for instance. That would be the first thing I would say is this home is here. Sumter Square is here. It's going to take you 20 or 25 minutes to get to Sumter Square on a golf cart. That home is not that close to Sumter Square. So those are the types of things I mean. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. Why is it lower? The price per square foot is lower. Well, let's take a look at the price per, what model? A Gardenia model. They don't have a floor plan. I would look at a different Gardenia floor plan just to kind of get an idea of what the square foot is. 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a den. Let's take a look at it. It's a nice house. Dark colors. Did you include the bond? I'm sure it has a bond available. I would include the bond amount to calculate your square footage, because all the videos that I'm doing, I'm including the bond in the price per square foot. Chances are they're including this. This is actually a Florida room. It has a ventilation, air conditioning duct in the ceiling. So this is considered a Florida room. So they're including that in the square footage. Yes. So to answer your question, we're wondering why the price. I think the bond is $14,000. Okay. So yes, the lanai is actually a Florida room. So a lot of homeowners do this, and this is what I tell you on my videos is always buy a lanai that's facing north or east, and that's because it's so warm that nobody really ever sits in their lanai. I already told you a story about how native Floridians kind of laugh at us northerners for wanting lanais, because the natives in Florida, they don't even sit in their lanais because it's too hot. And a lot of them convert their lanais into a Florida room. And a Florida room essentially is taking your lanai and enclosing it, putting windows in, putting a HVAC duct, heating and air conditioning duct inside. You temperature control it. And once you do that, they then include it in the square footage of the home. And I think it's the smart thing to do in Florida. I really do. Because sitting in a lanai in Florida in summertime, no matter if it's facing north, south, east, or west, it's almost unbearable. The only time you really can use a lanai in Florida is during the evening hours when the sun is gone and you turn on your ceiling fans wide open. You might be comfortable then. But a lot of people do this. They will convert it into a Florida room. And when they have a HVAC duct, or if they have air conditioning or heating in this room, they then call it a Florida room, and they will include it in the square footage. And you can tell this is a lanai because it is stepped down. And that's what one of the real estate agents told me. They said that it is, when you see the step down, it is a lanai. And sometimes they build the homes and it's flat level, and it's actually considered a Florida room when it's flat and level with the other rooms in the home. But when it's a step down and they convert it, they put an HVAC duct. I think most realtors will include this square footage in the price in the home. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's the way they should do it or not. because a true Florida room, the flooring will be level with your living floor. This is a converted lanai because it's stepped down. I think it is. Yeah, it's a step down. So it was a lanai at one point, and they converted it. So there is debate around whether you should call it a Florida room and include it in the square footage of the home or not. I think you can ask different realtors and they'll tell you different things. But I think in most cases, from what I've seen, is when they convert the lanai into a Florida room, they will include it in the square footage. It's a nice home, but they are including, I'm pretty sure. And here's the tray ceiling, the octagon that I told you in one of the videos. Now they are going to a rectangular tray ceiling in the new homes in the south. But in the homes in the north, their tray ceilings were this octagon. And I think they are going to rectangular because it's just less labor to install a rectangular tray ceiling. This home has tiles all over. That's nice. I like the tiled floors all over the place. I like the octagon tray ceiling. The colors in the home are a little darker for my taste than I like. Like the kitchen cabinets were dark. I'm not into dark cabinets. Those are Formica, or what they call high def countertops right there. I know a lot of people, they won't buy a home that has Formica or high def countertops. It has the walk-in Roman shower. That's what people are looking for. You just have this, I don't know, I don't know, the tiles are kind of strange to me. They're darker in color and they have this pattern. It's not for everybody's taste, but it's a beautiful walk-in Roman shower. You have tile floors again, but every room has a different kind of tile. You have a hodgepodge of different color tiled floors. I'm not really big on that. It'd be nice. I'm all about having like the same kind of floor throughout. Here is your primary, here's a guest bathroom. You do have your Formica / high def countertops, tile floors, tile surround. Yeah, these gardenias are pretty popular. You do have a cathedral ceiling in this guest bedroom in the front of the home. Tile floor, again, a different pattern tile. Yeah, it's like a checkerboard. Walking through this home reminds me of walking through on a checkerboard. You're always walking on a different color checkerboard. Two-car garage with a golf cart garage. Yeah, these gardenias are nice. I'm not big on the checkerboard floors. I'm not big on it's backing up to Odell Circle. That's a fairly busy street. I travel that periodically. Bond is 14K, so include that. Certainly need some updating for our taste. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining. My name is Tim. One of the viewers wanted me to take a look at this pre-owned gardenia model located in the village of Bonita. I like the village of Bonita. It's kind of centrally located. It's just north of County Road 466A. I don't think it's as close to Sumter Landing as you think. I think it's kind of far away from your town squares. So if you're one of these people that like to go to the town square every day, I think you're going to have quite a hike on your golf cart to get there. And what they're not showing you in this picture is Odell Circle is right here. It's a pretty busy street. I like the big lot. It's a pie-shaped lot. Nice landscaping, and right there is Odell. And then you have this intersection right there. Nice home. I just don't like the location of it. And these are, yep, Formica / high def countertops. Landscaping is pretty nice. So there you have it, gardenia. I hope I answered your question. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Feel free to ask any questions. This live stream is for you. This is your time to tap my brain. Ask me any questions that you want. Scene. Interesting. So otherwise, we will continue the tour of the villages, or we can go over the villages news. There was something in here that I saw. Oh, something that came up recently was the anonymous complaints. District number 10. And that might be District 10. So District number 10 wants to revisit getting rid of anonymous complaints. There are neighbors in District number 10 that are having a hard time. There is somebody that is reporting all kinds of code violations, and it's upsetting the neighbors in District number 10. And I saw that in the village's news, that there are a lot of complaints being forwarded to the villages about neighbors, and these neighbors have banded together. I guess they had a meeting at the Seabreeze Recreation Center, and there were so many people they couldn't fit them all into the meeting room. They have monthly board meetings, and the boardroom was full of people. District number 10 residents are angry that there is somebody I'd like to read the article to you if I could find it. Nothing found. Anonymous complaints. Let's go to news. But the gist of the story is every year, one or two residential districts revisit the anonymous complaints. Do you have them or not? And if you're new, you have code. You have to maintain certain property codes. Didn't get the notification. What notification didn't you get, Becky? You have certain codes that you must maintain for your home. Yes, the Community Standards Department review the codes. Yes, close. So, oh, you didn't get a notice that you went live? Yeah, that's YouTube. Make sure you ring the bell icon for notifications, and even if you do that, YouTube is not consistent. A lot of YouTubers complain about the notifications. People don't. Some people get notified, some people don't. It's a YouTube thing, and it's inconsistent. Sometimes the notifications work, sometimes they don't. It's crazy. I think the best thing to do for YouTubers is to just schedule a weekly live and have it every week at a certain day at a certain time. That's what a lot of YouTubers do. But I'm afraid of commitment, so I don't do that. So I usually go live around this time. I'm a little bit early this week. Don't know why I'm a little bit early, but thanks for your inquiry. So the point I'm making with the anonymous complaints is you have certain community standards that you need to maintain in your home. And in District number 10, they have somebody going around reporting code violations. I think one of them was a little white cross. That seems to be a big issue in the villages. Every year they talk about people who put little white crosses out in their yard, and somebody will be offended by it and they'll call it in as a complaint, and then community standards will come out to the home, they'll look, and then they'll I think they send a letter to the homeowner saying you need to put your little white cross away. uh, that little white cross has consumed so much time for board members for different districts that it's unbelievable. And the official rule with little white crosses for those new to the villages is uh, you have to put your little white cross underneath the eave of the home. That is the official ruling. You can put a white cross out, but it can't be on the front of your yard. You cannot put a white cross here in your yard. You can't even put it in your flower bed or your plant garden. The little white cross needs to be placed somewhere close to your home so it's underneath your eave. You see these eaves here? That is the official rules. The white cross and any yard ornament, for that matter, any yard ornament has to be underneath the eave of the home. It has to be tied up close to the side of the home. That's the official rules. But there are people putting little white crosses out in their grassy area here. They're putting them in their rock garden, their plant garden in here. That is actually technically against the rules. And every year, all the different districts have to address the little white cross issue. And it is a big issue. And there is countless hours of time wasted talking about little white crosses. People insist on putting little white crosses in their yards, in the villages. Yeah, that's the other issue, Becky, is they talk about that too in certain board meetings is uh, you can complain about a neighbor. I could be living in district number 5 and I could drive down to district number 10 and I could complain about somebody's home. The villages does not ask when you're anonymous, they don't ask your name, they don't ask where you live, they don't ask if you live in the villages. I've heard stories where people that don't even live in the villages, they live in Leesburg or Wildwood, they come to the villages and they call in complaints anonymously because it's anonymous. Anybody can call in a complaint. I could live in Wisconsin and I could call in a complaint about somebody living in district number 10. Because district 10 has anonymous complaint system, they don't ask my name, they don't ask my address, they don't ask nothing. They just log the complaint and they're required to investigate every complaint. So the community standards department has a team of, I don't know, 25 or 30 people. They're running around looking at all these complaints and they're adding staff every year. Look at the budgeting for community standards. Every year they're adding a couple of positions because the villages is growing and they have so many anonymous complaints to investigate. It's absolutely crazy. So that's why some villages have gone to a complaint system where you need to leave your name and address. In District 5, where I live, passed a rule like 2 or 3 years ago that they got rid of the anonymous complaints. And the number of complaints has gone down drastically. They used to get like 3,000 or 4,000 complaints a year just in District 5 when it was anonymous. And it went down to like 1,200 complaints after they implemented the non-anonymous complaint system. So it was more than half of the complaints just disappeared. And the argument against that is they feel that the district could start looking run down, shabby. It could look shoddy because people are going to be afraid to complain about the little white cross in the yard, and then everybody's going to have a white cross in the yard, for example. So there's arguments for and against it. And I've sat in board meetings and I watched and listened to some very uh, contentional arguments on both sides. Some people want that anonymous complaint system, some people don't. Favorite restaurant? Well, I'm a beef brisket guy, and there's an excellent beef brisket barbecue place. What is the name of it? Uh, where is it? It's this one here. Artman's right here. So let me share this tab. Somebody's asking about the best restaurant. My favorite restaurant is this one. It's called Artman Country Smokehouse. They have excellent beef brisket barbecue, large portions. It's up on County Road 42 in the north part of the Villages. Let's see if I can call it up on the website. Artman Country Smokehouse. It's just kind of a little thing. Do they have a website even? Let's take a look at the photos. Why not? It's not much of a restaurant, but the barbecue is excellent. So it's just a small, like, diner type situation. But they have good portions. The beef brisket is awesome. So when I got a hankering for some good beef brisket, I go here, Artman's Country Smokehouse. Magnolia Plaza, any Mission Barbecue. I don't know. I don't know much about the South. I don't really go to the South too often, other than to make videos. I know the best pizza is this pizza place in Lake Denham or something like that. Pizza Villages. It is called Pisano's. I think this is it. Yes, Pisano's. Stop sharing. Yes, Pisano's has all your favorite pizzas. This is the best pizza in the Villages, in my opinion. That's in the South. Pisano's Stone-Fired Pizza. And that is in, what is it? It's over by the Rohan Rec Center, I think. I forgot what that plaza is called. Again, I don't know my South part of the Villages that well. So somebody in the South can tell me. You ate at the barbecue restaurant or the pizza restaurant? Yeah. So the best hamburger in the Villages, if you want a good hamburger inside the Villages, the best hamburger I've eaten is at what's that? What is that? I forgot what it's called already. It's up north. So let me go to the best hamburger is at well, I do like the Johnny Rockets hamburgers at Lake Sumter Square, but that I don't think is the best. So, yeah, I guess it is. Johnny Rockets is probably the best hamburger in the Villages, but I go to the Country Club, and I forgot what it's called. Country Club in the Villages. Villages, Glenview, no more. Bonifay, Belle Glade, Kane, Havana, Arnold Palmer, Mallory, Terra del Sol. Terra del Sol is where they have the best hamburgers. That's like a Villages owned uh, property. They have really good hamburgers there. Good charbroiled, nice and thick, usually pretty juicy. I order my hamburgers medium rare. Uh, Good atmosphere at the Tierra del Sol. They remodeled this. Yeah, here's the bar at the Tierra del. I usually sit either here or right there. I order my hamburger. The wait staff is really friendly. That's not always the case in the Villages to get friendly wait staff. I'm just giving everybody a clue that the friendliest hometown is not always the friendliest. But here they always seem to have good bartenders, wait staff. Tierra del Sol. You even have a large room there. You sit at the bar and have a drink at the Tierra del Sol. That looks like it's chicken tenders. I've never tried the chicken tenders there. They should highlight the hamburgers. The hamburgers are really good there. Tierra del Sol, best hamburger in the Villages. Okay, barbecue. Yeah, the barbecue place is good. Looks like Harry and the Natives is opening up. You going to check it out? Yeah, when I get back there, I will check it out. It's going to be busy for a long time because there's a lot of people that live in that area. That is at the St. John, Village of St. John area. Lots of people there. I would expect Harry and the Natives to be really, really busy for a very long time, if not forever. Nancy Lopez, probably the best overall country club. Nancy Lopez, probably, if you want fine dining inside the Villages, Nancy Lopez, I think, is the best. I've heard that from many villagers too. I've even eaten there. It's very good. Uh, what I like about Nancy Lopez, I'll show you what I like about Nancy Lopez. It's a hidden gem. I'm not sure a lot of people know about it. Pool Bar, Nancy Lopez. This is the hidden gem of Nancy Lopez. It's the Nancy Lopez Pool Bar. Nancy Lopez Pool Bar is absolutely awesome. Again, friendly wait staff there, friendly bartenders there, good food. Saturday and Sunday, they have a special. What is it on Saturday? On Sunday, what is it? On Sunday, it's buy one hamburger, get one hamburger free, I think. And on Saturday, it is all you can eat wings, I think. So on Saturday and Sunday, they have good specials. The food is good here. It's close to Nancy Lopez quality. So if you've never been, go to the Nancy Lopez Pool Bar. It's a country club, so not everybody can swim in this pool. I think you have to be a country club member to swim in the pool, but you don't need to be a country club member to sit at the pool bar, have a drink, and have some good food. Look at the good food and good Nancy Lopez food. If you haven't figured it out, I'm not a fine dining kind of guy. I'm a sit at the pool bar kind of guy. So this is where I go, but I have gone inside already. Oh, look at that. This is the pool bar right here. I don't know why they take pictures of drinks. It's kind of weird, but there you go. Maybe I'm in that crowd. Looks like it's taken in winter. This guy's got a jacket on. I don't know. I've never gone to Browns. Again, I don't go south. I try to stay away from the south. It's too busy for me. I dine Lake Sumter and North. That's kind of where I hang out. The furthest south I go is Lake Sumter Landing because I live near County Road 466. And I do go to Brownwood occasionally, again, but it's usually crowded. Uh, I like the scenery at Lake Sumter with the lake. I kind of know the people there. I go there fairly often. And when I go to Brownwood, I don't know anybody. It's usually crowded, it's usually hot, uh, and there's no lake there. So it's just not me. Wonder why the squares don't have better coffee shops. Not a big fan of Dunkin'. Well, at Lake Sumter, they have a Starbucks. I would go to the Starbucks all the time at Lake Sumter. Don't they have a Starbucks at Brownwood? Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is not a big, yeah. No, Dunkin' Donuts is not Starbucks, that's for sure. But they have a Starbucks at Lake Sumter. It's really busy usually too. You talk about restaurants. Hmm. What else do you want to talk about? You want to continue talking about restaurants? Uh, they usually have good. I'm all about the sales, all about the specials, and usually on during the week, if you get the Village's newspaper, the country clubs will usually have specials. Like Tuesday night might be rib night, and Sunday might be a roasted chicken at certain country clubs, and they're usually reasonably priced. And that's kind of what I try to do is I look for the deals and the specials. I've already had prime rib at Havana, and it was pretty good. And they even served real horseradish, and that's what I'm all about. When I have prime rib, I like real horseradish. I don't want the squeeze bottle horseradish. I want the real stuff, the ground up stuff. Really, when you click vibe in Google Maps, interesting. Hi J Lo, get back home soon so you can continue your restaurant reviews. Nobody watches my restaurant videos. Well, actually, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do watch the restaurant videos, but sometimes they don't. And the reason I don't like doing restaurant reviews is because of the music. Every restaurant plays music. And when I turn my camera on to record, the music gets recorded, and YouTube will copyright my video. They won't allow me to play it, they won't allow me to monetize it. So it's difficult to do restaurant reviews because of the music in the background. So when I do a restaurant review, I kind of do it, I turn the camera on, I turn it off, and it's a lot of small clips, and it looks kind of wonky. Uh, but I occasionally will do them. Starbucks is too expensive, really. Yeah, I would go there. I like the caramel macchiato. It's a hot coffee with, I don't know, caramel in it and stuff. I do. I do understand. Okay. But I'll try to do restaurant reviews there. So when I'm inside the restaurant, I'll just do short clips. I could go in and video and then just mute it, and I could do a voiceover. I could do a voiceover. There's ways around it, but I'm kind of a lazy YouTuber. Voiceovers would require more effort and energy. Once you live in the villages, do you need to own a car, or can you get by with a golf car? Short answer is you probably still need a car to get to doctor appointments, hospital appointments. But there are areas in the villages, and I live in one of those areas, that I can do probably 90% of my things in a golf car where I live. I can go to Walmart. I can go to Costco now just open. I can go to all the restaurants on County Road 466. I can go to the bank, all in my golf car. But the things I cannot go to my dentist. My dentist is located on Highway 441 way off in Lady Lake. So I would need a car unless I rent a cab or a Grab or something. You probably could get by. That's why on my videos I keep stressing I like living where I'm living, and I don't want to live in the South, because if you live in the South, you're going to need a car. There's very few things you can get to on a golf car if you live in the South. But I live just south of County Road 466. I live in District 5. I can do about 95% of my shopping on a golf car. I can go to Bell's retail store. I can go to Publix grocery store. I can go to Walmart. There's not very many places in the villages you can do that on a golf car. That's why I like to live where I am. That's probably why I'll never move to the South. Do voiceover on you? Yeah, I could do a voiceover. I just think voiceovers sound cheesy. My channel is all about being in the real, in the moment. I like that type of content. Voiceovers is just is a little bit too studio-ish. I just don't want to be the YouTuber that sits in his living room and preaches about things and not get out and boots on the ground and experience. I want to bring the villages to my viewers, and that means being there, listening to the forks clank on the tabletops, listening to people laughing in the background. I want to bring you the real vibe. That's kind of what my channel is about. But you're right, I could do some voices. I probably will do some voiceovers. Hi, Tim. I'm late. Yeah, well, I'm early. I decided to get up early today. I don't know why. I did. Well, I know why. There's bands playing. It's a national holiday here in the Philippines. That's where I am. It's a national holiday. It's National Heroes Day. And at 6 o'clock this morning, outside my window, there were marching bands playing, and it woke me up. That's why I'm up early. It's actually 8:20 a.m. where I am here. What is this? Becky Staple Crew Becky. Not sure what that means. How about another pre-owned? Sure, let's take a look at a pre-owned. Why not? I could just make another live stream of just going through pre-owned homes. 1938 Sarsaparilla. Is that on the Village's website, I assume? 1938 Sarsaparilla. Let's look at 1938 Sarsaparilla. Do you know what sarsaparilla is? Can you see my screen? I'm not sure. Can you see the screen? Yes, you can. So let's take a look at 1938 sarsaparilla. Wow. One car, two golf cars. Yes, that's me. No, I'm in the Philippines. Could you Uber for those? Yeah, you could Uber. But sometimes if you have, we'll get to your home in a bit. Sometimes, like I had hernia surgery last year. I had to go to Ocala, Florida for that. Could you Uber up to Ocala? And probably it might cost you, but it might be cheaper to do it that way than buying a car. I'll be honest with you. If there's a way to get rid of the car, I would try it. I would try. In fact, I might even do that someday. Where the area I live, I'm pretty sure I could get by without a car. You'd just be inconvenienced at times because you're gonna have to get an Uber. But that was that's what I looked at the most. That's what I prioritized the most when I looked at buying my pre-owned home. Was I wanted to live in an area where I could do 90, 95, 100% of my shopping on a golf car. We are visiting on Tuesday for 5 nights. Look around, see houses. Complain about some yard ornaments too. Well, where are they? Welcome to the Villages. I knew the name, just did my lifestyle and rented a house for 2 weeks. Thanksgiving, I love it and want a bit more test. Yeah, the open house tours are painful for me to do because I do them during open houses, and there's a lot of people, customers that come through the whole open house when I'm midway through videoing, and then I have to stop the video. There have been times where it took me 2 hours just sitting around waiting for customers to go through the home before I could get in and video it. So it wastes a lot of my time. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing them. I do have some realtors that are texting me saying, come and do an open house. And what I'm telling them is, if I can do, I'll do the open house video, but I want to do it outside the hours of the open house. I can meet you before the open house or after the open house, but I just want nobody to be in the home, and I don't want to worry about people coming in and wasting my time. Have a great visit. Cruising in the background with Pop and Mim. I will be there shortly. Okay, that's great. I haven't visited, but I plan to move. I have friends. My doctor says I must move, so that is why my plan is hopefully next year. Yeah, you'll like it. You'll like the weather in the village. Isn't it too hot in summer to drive around? Well, that's what some people say. It is hot. Uh, I do it all the time. It doesn't seem to bother me, but it does bother some people. Some people say it's too hot to drive a golf car in summer. I have a canvas surround. I roll that up. In summer, I usually will fold the windshield down. Most golf carts, you can fold the windshield down. You let the wind blow in your face. You get used to the heat. I'm from Wisconsin. I got used to the heat in the first year. Okay, so let's go through this guy's open house. Are you still on? Are you still on? Do you still want me to go through this? Here's a gardenia. Where is this located? 3-bed, 2-bath, 469. Let's see where it's located first. Okay, so this looks like it's backing up to a courtyard villa neighborhood. Anytime you see lots that are slanted, that's a courtyard villa neighborhood. You most likely will have a wall behind it. This is St. Charles Place. I've done videos in that area. Buena Vista, 466A. My first comment is this is a better location than the first house-ish that we looked at. This is a better location. You're going to have a wall behind you. It's kind of close to the Sterling Heights Rec Center, and you do have pickleball courts. You might hear the pickleballers, knick-knack, knick-knack, knick-knack. If you're sitting in the lanai, you might hear that. You're kind of close. One of the things when I bought a pre-owned home was I wanted to stay further away from the pickleball courts because those balls are hard, they make sound, and that sound really travels. And the sound, most of the time the wind is coming from the west going to the east, so that sound is going to travel toward your home. So be aware of the pickleball courts. Go down there and stand in your lanai for 5 or 10 minutes and try to listen to the pickleball courts. See if they're too much. So what is this? Trying to get everybody's comments answered. How can we touch base? I have many friends. We can just come back. Good deal. You're talking, meeting people. Yeah, you're still here. We're going to go over your house, and I live in Fort Lauderdale. Used to the heat. You on X? Okay, so you're still here. go and look at the home. First thing I noticed is it's backing up to Courtyard Villa. Second thing, I think it's a little too close to the pickleball courts, but you should go down and judge for yourself. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1907. Let's take a look. Enter through your stacking glass doors. Stacking glass doors. Okay, they're sliding patio doors that stack. This one has added convenience. 4-foot enlarged lanai. Okay. Located between the sixes, yeah, but it's really close to 466A. Let's look at the home features. 466 large lanai. Rear exposure west. That's the other thing I don't like about it, my friend, is your lanai is facing west. Now you're going to get some direct sunlight into your lanai, but you will have a wall here. I always encourage my viewers to stay away from west-facing lanais, but if you can handle it, you can handle it. So let's go in and look at the pictures. I like the color scheme better already. Tile floors. What kind of countertop is that? So there's your block wall, and that's your Courtyard Villa neighborhood. So you might have people with barking dogs, because it seems like everybody that owns a Courtyard Villa will have a barking dog. And for me, I stay away from Courtyard Villa neighborhoods because of the barking dogs. I'm not a dog guy. Look at this lanai, huge, very nice. Very nice landscaping. Very, very nice. Okay, it looks like that's Formica countertops again. Tile floors. A lot better coloring in this home. Yeah, it's Formica countertops. Well, they call them high def, but it's a fancy word for Formica. You got the carpeting in there. Very nice. Yeah, that lanai is not temperature controlled. It is a true lanai. It's screened in. It is west facing. Fairly neutral colors for the age of the home. Most of the time you'll see purples and pinks and blues in these homes. It's amazing what color some of these people will paint their homes. It's just bizarre. Here is Formica countertops again. There's a cathedral ceiling in that bedroom. Nice. Tiles shower surround. There is your Formica countertops again. Raised panel bifold doors. These stairs are actually really expensive to put in. So it has stairs. The problem with storing anything in your attic is everything melts. Even some plastic items that you think, like I know people who store their Christmas ornaments up there, and sometimes some of them will melt. So the storage in these attics is fairly useless in my opinion, because you got to watch what you put up. You cannot put a candle up there. The candle will melt. That's how hot it gets. That's just note to everybody. So here is your dead giveaway of some sun problems. They have a shade installed in your lanai. Anytime you see shades in your lanai, that means the sun is beating in your face. If you plan on using your lanai, you're going to have to use this lanai most likely at night, and it still might be too hot because that sun is going to beat in here. It is going to heat this concrete up. You are going to feel like you're sitting in a stone-fired pizza oven. Very nice. That's your Courtyard Villa. So for me, I wouldn't buy it because of the west-facing lanai and the Courtyard Villa neighborhood. But I like the home itself. If that home was facing east or north, and not a courtyard villa neighborhood. I might even buy it with a courtyard villa neighborhood behind me, but the west facing lanai for me would be my deal breaker. I like the cul-de-sac it's on. What is that? So look at this yard here. Interesting. There's my opinion on it. Is that a stretch garage is the question. Again, if it doesn't say, does it say in the, it says in large lanai, 2-car plus golf cart garage. It doesn't say stretched, but that doesn't mean it's not stretched. It goes back to the, it goes back to that comment that these listing agents just half the information is inaccurate. So you would have to ask her, but the best thing is to bring your own tape measure and measure it for yourself. 469,000 is the price. Does it have a bond? Flyer. Let's look at the flyer. Village of St. James. Bond, $16,000 bond on the home. So this is the other thing that's popular in the villages is they will list a den. A room without a closet is considered a den. It's not considered a bedroom. And in Wisconsin, you cannot list that as a bedroom. But in the villages and in Florida, especially in the villages, some realtors will list a den as a bedroom. So if you're looking at pre-owned homes, you have to watch it. I've talked to some real estate agents in Florida that say, you can't do that. You're not supposed to list a den as a bedroom. And then I talked to another real estate agent and she says, oh, I listed it as a bedroom. Nobody told me that I can't. So that goes back to my comment. Real estate is consistently inconsistent, especially in pre-owned. So you have to do your due diligence. And when they say that a bedroom does not have a closet, that means it's not a bedroom, it's a den, and the value of the home will be lowered because of that. Having a closet in a room adds value to your home, more value than you think, because there might be a day someday when the listing agent will say, I have to list this as a 2-bedroom home with a den. And then 90% of the people looking for a 3-bedroom home will cross your home off the list. It'll be harder to sell. Just warning you people. Goodbye at 469. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, I lived 1 block off A1. So how many hours? Hour and 14 minutes. I think I'm going to end the live stream. It was a good live. This is good. This is what I like. Interactive live, off script, impromptu. I'm all about that. Shoot from the hip. That's why my videos are not very good. I'm kidding. But I enjoy it. I'll do the live again next week, sometime this time, somewhere between, I don't know, 7 p.m. and probably 10 p.m. in Florida. I'll do another live stream next week. Leave lots of comments, like the videos, share the videos. I appreciate everybody's watching the videos. And let me know in the comments what kind of content you want me to see. I'm just doing random content videos of new homes. I feel everybody's interested in the new homes in the South. I will try to bring you some pre-owned homes in between. The only thing with doing videos on pre-owned homes is I don't trust the spec sheets that the realtors list, and I'm not sure what kind of finishes are in those homes because I have to go by the pictures, and I cannot tell sometimes from the pictures what finish is in. So I'm hesitant to do pre-owned home videos because I really don't know what's inside that home. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to mislead anybody. So I tend to gravitate and make videos of the new homes because I know what's in those new homes. So I will try to do some pre-owned homes, but I won't probably do many of them. You're welcome, Craig. As always, thanks for insights. Much appreciated. Take care, Ronald. I'm going to end the live. Have a good week. Have a good week. Tomorrow is Monday for you people. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.